Hello guys, Mr. Mxyzptlk here, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk with you about Shazam, the next DCEU movie to shoot. Last month, a report came suggesting that Shazam would be in fact the next DC movie to go into production. But now director David F. Sandberg has confirmed that to be the case. So let's talk about it. But before we start, I want to ask the question. Who is Shazam? Well, to answer this question, we'll have to go back to the 1940s. This character was not from DC Comics originally. It actually was created in 1939 by artist C.C. Beck and writer Bill Parker. Captain Marvel first appeared in Whiz Comics #2 in February 1940, and it was actually published by Fawcett Comics. In that time, Superman was a huge hit, and so Fawcett Comics wanted to have their own Superman. So they created Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the alter ego of Billy Batson, a boy who, by speaking the magic word Shazam, which is the acronym of 6 immortal elders, it's S for Solomon, H for Hercules, A for Atlas, Z for Zeus, A for Hercules, and M for Mercury. And so by saying this word, he can transform himself into a custom adult with the powers of superhuman strength, speed, flight, and other abilities. Basically, he becomes Superman. And actually, this character outsailed Superman by so much. He was so much more popular than Superman. It's actually very funny. So, some years later, DC Comics sued Fawcett Comics for their Captain Marvel publications because they said that they were copying Superman. And so, DC Comics got the rights to Captain Marvel. And then they put him in the back burner for many years, and in recent years, with the New 52 principally, he got on the spotlight again, but he hasn't gotten his solo series in a long time. Actually, in DC Rebirth, he hasn't appeared. He's only appeared once in a single comic book. So now that you know a bit of the history of Shazam, because, well, I didn't explain it, but I'll explain it now. Basically, there's an issue with the name Captain Marvel for obvious reasons, because DC's rival is Marvel Comics, and so DC cannot publish a book called Captain Marvel. So what they'll say is, well, this book is called Shazam. And in recent years, this has been the case, and so many people have chosen to call this character by Shazam. However, it's a bit of a misconception. DC can call him Captain Marvel. There's no legal issue in calling the character Captain Marvel. Marvel does not own the name Captain Marvel. What DC cannot do, however, is publish something that is called Captain Marvel because it has the Marvel name. But the character can be called Captain Marvel. However, because in recent years there's been more Shazam and less Captain Marvel in the titles, fans have started to call him Shazam, which is actually also the name of the wizard who gives Billy Batson its powers. And just a quick, it's not related with what I'm going to say in this video, but if you haven't checked out, you should check out a video of a Shazam pitch of JaeRoar. It's a very good YouTuber that I follow for many times now. So I appreciate his work. I appreciate you, man. If you're watching this, you're not, but if you ever do, keep up the good work. So I will leave the link in the description for that video for JaeRoar. Make sure to subscribe to JaeRoar's channel. He puts out great content. In that video he suggested that Morgan Freeman should be the Wizard Shazam, and I completely agree with him. I think it would be perfect. Morgan Freeman, of course, already played God, so we can play anyone. But enough of that said, let's get to this video and to the topic of this video. So, Shazam, the movie, has been getting a lot of news recently. That's because it's starting to gear up into production, like I've said in the beginning of the video. So, what we know, I'll start with what we know. Well, we know that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson won't be a part of it. Black Adam won't be in this movie. Director David F. Sandberg has already confirmed it. Also, we know that the movie will be the next DC movie to go into production and to shoot. So that means that the Batman, for example, will not shoot until, I would say, early to mid next year. Which I don't mind. I think that the Batman will be released in 2019 to coincide with the 80th anniversary of the character. But Shazam, I also think, will be released in 2019. So now let's get to some speculations that I have about this movie. Well, if you haven't checked out my DC's Hall H panel predictions, well, now it's a bit too late to watch it, but in that video I talked about Shazam, what we might have gotten, and one thing I talked about was some casting. Unfortunately, we didn't have any casting announcements at San Diego Comic-Con, but in that video I talked about John Cena possibly being Shazam, although now it has been confirmed that John Cena will be in Transformers, the Bumblebee spin-off. I also talked about Armie Hammer, although I would like him more to be Green Lantern. And I also think Channing Tatum could do a great job in the role. He's actually my top choice to play Shazam. So, with the news that Dwayne Johnson won't be in Shazam, we have to wonder what will be the main villain of this movie. Well, Shazam doesn't have that many villains, and the Black Adam is one of the most notable one. It's one of the most notable. So, who do I think is gonna be the villain? Well, I think that there's a good possibility that the villain will be Dr. Sivana. For those of you who don't know him, I will show a picture of him right now. Yeah, that's him. If I would describe Dr. Sivana, I would say that he's like a mixture of Lex Luthor and the Joker, but like 75 to 80% Lex Luthor and the rest the Joker. And he's one of the arch nemesis for Shazam. There's a funny story to his name actually, like CC Beck, who also created Dr. Sivana way back in the day in Fawcett Comics, has said that he created Sivana's name by combining the name of the Indian god Siva with the word Nirvana. So, I think that Dr. Sivana is the most likely choice to be the villain of the movie. I'm not sure what the storyline will be. David F. Sandberg hasn't given us a great tease. He's talked about all the origin stories, so there's nothing to go for that. But, well, I think this might... I had this theory for a long time now, actually, that this first Shazam movie will be like the first one in a trilogy that is being planned by New Line. For those of you who don't know, this movie will be made and distributed by New Line Cinema, which is a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, so it's not directly from Warner Brothers, which has made all the other DCEU films, but it is from New Line, which is owned by Warner Brothers. So yeah, but it's good to mention. And so I think that this is the first part where we get to meet our hero and to get amazed by how good he is. Then I think we'll get the Black Adam movie that's been talked about by The Rock, which will be the second part, which will be like the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy, if you know what I mean. It's gonna be the darkest film, I think, because it fits perfectly. It will be about the villain, the Black Adam, and I think that movie could be truly amazing because it could show, and it's the advantage of having a solo Black Adam movie where you'd get like, because for those of you who don't know, Black Adam, the mantle of Black Adam, he was actually the first, let's call it Shazam. So what happened is, the wizard Shazam is so old that there's various origins to Black Adam, but the one I find most interesting is the one where he's an Egyptian priest or pharaoh, and he gets the power of Shazam by the wizard, but he gets corrupted with that power and then becomes the villain Black Adam. And I think this movie, the Black Adam movie, could show the growth of the character and then eventually the downfall of this character and the turn to the dark side, no pun intended, of Black Adam. And then I think this is pure speculation again, don't take it this serious, but I think they could do then a Black Adam versus Shazam movie, and that way we would care much more about the characters because we would already seen a Shazam movie, and then we'd already seen a Black Adam movie. Some criticisms of the current superhero movies, especially Marvel in this case, but DC also has some of this problem, although I don't think it's so notorious, let's call it that way, is the villains that don't get as much screen time as the heroes, which is understandable, of course, but then we don't get so emotionally attached to the history and the conflict between these two. We only care about the heroes and not the villains. And this way, by giving Black Adam his own movie and Shazam his own movie, there could be a, let's call it, divisiveness in the fandom, in a good way, not in a bad way, in which some people would be rooting for Shazam and some people would be rooting for Black Adam. Okay? And I think that would be very interesting and could lead to an amazing trilogy of movies. And yes, that's about it. I think this movie has everything to be great. I expect it to be great. It's the first big budget superhero film for David F. Sandberg. For those of you who don't know his work, who are not familiar with his work, he just put out a movie like now. It's Annabelle Creation, which is getting like amazing reviews, and so, but he has said that doesn't scare him. In fact, he said that, well, I don't have here the exact quote, but he said that, well, the filming techniques are the same, and he has more time to make his film. So I have every expectation to this movie, but I want to hear, what do you think? Yes, what do you think? You can tell me in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like the video and share it with all your friends, and please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I was out for a couple weeks, I'm sorry for that, but I was on vacation. I will try to put as many videos as I can. Right now it's a bit difficult for me because it's a period of vacations, and so I cannot promise to to put videos like every week or so, but I will try my best, and I hope I can. Also, if you want, please leave some suggestions for future videos if you have any. For those of you who have stick to the end, thank you very much for being with me, and I hope you enjoyed this video from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And also, again, don't forget to check out JaeRoar's video. A big shout out to him. If you go there, leave a comment and say you came for Mr. Mxyzptlk. I would really appreciate it if he notices me. Probably not, but well. So, I hope you have a great day. Mr. Mxyzptlk out.